You know how they say history repeats itself? Can we just not for 1 year? Like, can we have something different for once? Just like a new, refreshing sequence of events or something like that? Because it gets kind of boring. I'm not going to lie. Welcome back to the James and Dame Show. I'm Josiah.
And I'm Will.
And welcome back. We're going to go over the conference championship preview for both the AFC and the NFC. We're getting very close to the Super Bowl, just literally 2 games away from it. Doesn't feel real, but that's just kind of how it is now. I don't know. Time has been an illusion for like this last year. I just feel like we just started week 2, last week. I don't know why. That's just me. But I guess we can just kind of jump into the championship games. We'll start with the NFC because it's the first game.
Yep.
So we got Commies and Eagles.
Yeah, we got Commanders visiting the Eagles. Another divisional game. And I think it's fair to say as well. I think in December, if you would have mentioned that there is a divisional matchup in the NFC, I don't think people would have expected this. I think it probably would have been Packers, Lions, Vikings,
or Dallas,
Lions.
Eagles. People thought Dallas was still going to be good this year. I mean, Prescott's injury didn't help, but
I think by December people were expecting it to be the NFC North. Someone in the NFC North. Vikings, Lions, Packers, one of those 3. But I mean, here we are with these 2, and I think it's an exciting 2. I like this matchup. These 2 have had some pretty good games earlier in the year, and I think there's a lot tipping in the scales of Philadelphia because I mean,
you're at home. Commanders beat you last time. You want revenge. Just a game from the Super Bowl. A lot of things are lining up. So they can taste the Super Bowl. They're so close. So, well, just looking at the Commanders and Eagles in general, obviously the better prepared and the better equipped team is the Eagles. Mm-hmm. But the hottest team right now, like we've been saying for weeks, the Commanders. We didn't think I don't think anybody thought they'd get this far. If you did, I don't know, you're some guru or something. But I kind of want to see the Cinderella story continue. I like the idea of seeing the Commanders in the Super Bowl. So that's just kind of who I'm picking right now. And not saying that I don't think the Eagles are good. It's just the idea of a Cinderella story getting all the way to the Super Bowl. First year with this kind of a team, new coaching staff and everything. I'm down for that. It's something new, something we haven't seen in a long time.
Yeah, I mean, how many times do you really see a rookie quarterback go all the way to the Super Bowl? It doesn't happen. But
yep.
I don't know. I won't be too upset either way. This is a game where I'm going with my gut, and that is going to lean me towards the Eagles just because they're favorites, and I think they should be favorites. They're not the team I'm going to root for. There is a big difference between what I think the Super Bowl will be and what I want the Super Bowl to be. With these teams remaining, it's in fact actually polar opposites. So a little teaser there, but the Commanders, it would be such a shock, and I think I only picked them. I think I picked them in the wild card, but other than that, I'm not gonna pick them because I don't expect them to do super well, but I'm still going to root for them. But looking at this game especially, Lions game, I picked the Lions mostly just on the merit of 1 seed. They should come in and play well, but
best team in the NFC kind of situation. I understand that.
But looking at this game, there's a difference. And again, it could still be the Commanders because even, especially with it being a divisional matchup, who knows what's going to happen. They're split 1-1. So clearly the Commanders are capable of beating the Eagles. But the reason why I'm going to go with the Eagles is more so looking at what the Eagles are doing and what the Commanders have faced. And that was a first-round team in the Buccaneers who did not have the defense or necessarily were super well coached. They have a good offense. Their offense looks really good, but that defense is just really their concern, and coaching has not
Always been an issue.
it hasn't been great in Tampa Bay. Good enough to get you there and make it interesting, but that one, again, and they squeaked by there. And then you look at the Lions, where, again, they were really good during the regular season, but postseason, being healthy really matters.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're looking at, again, at a not as well coached and defensive lacking team in the Buccaneers, and then you go out and beat still a high powered offense and a well coached team, but just really injured, especially on the defensive side.
Yes.
And compare that to what you're playing this week. You got a healthy, really stacked, good Eagles team with a strong run game and well coached. The Eagles are well coached. This is a scenario where you're not going up against a team that's like, oh, they're lacking these things that you need as a playoff team and are trying to make up for it. So elsewhere, this is like your prototypical playoff team.
And this time around, apparently they weren't playing all their starters in the last time the Commanders Eagles played because injuries and everything. So the Commanders are actually playing the full healthy team now. They're not playing the backups, I would say.
You're not going up against Kenny Pickett, and you're playing in Philadelphia when it matters most. So I'm not sleeping. I'm not trying to sleep on the Commanders. Again, I still think they have a shot at this, even though it doesn't seem like people really think that they do, but no one has, I think, up to this point anyways. So that's why I think that it's still possible that they win this game, but I think there's so much that the Eagles are doing that the Commanders haven't had to face that they will have to face, at least in the playoffs.
In the playoffs, yes.
And it's where it matters most. And if you want to look at the opposite side of that, what the Eagles are facing, I mean, Eagles went up against a good defense last week. They went up against a pretty good offense in the Packers that they turned into whatever that performance was with that defense. Again, I think this is going to be probably the toughest matchup. I think the defense of the Rams is better than the Commanders' defense, but that's just based off of a talent basis, while the Commanders' defense is a unit.
Yeah, they're more
well coached.
They're more together, yes. I do agree with that.
They play as a unit, and then you look at the offensive side. I think the Commanders' offense is potentially the toughest team the Eagles will have played in the playoffs. So I think it'll be the toughest matchup for both of them, which is, I mean, that's what you hope for in the playoffs, is the toughest matchup at the end. But I do think the scale is tipped in Philly's favor. The question is, can that pass game come through? Because if that struggles, I think that gives Washington the upper hand, plus some things that go their way. We've seen Dan Quinn go for fourth down conversions quite a bit. He out Dan Campbell last week. So,
which is kind of crazy, but
yeah, again, I think the one thing that Washington also can add that can make this interesting, and I think that's what's given them so much push, is their ability to play they're playing with nothing to lose. And that's that's what makes them scary. But we shall see what happens. But
indeed. There's not much from that game from my side besides just the fact that Eagles are a really good team. Commanders are just a team that is just playing right at the right time. Not much to lose there, especially with a rookie QB and a first-year head coach and everything.
Well, I mean, he's
not
coached before. First year there, yeah.
First year there, especially with that scheme and everything. So I don't know. I like the underdog mentality. So
I would love to see the underdog win. The question is, can they? Do you really think they can stop Saquon though?
I don't think they'll stop Saquon, but they'll do enough to win the game. You can't stop Saquon. I think what they'll do is they'll let Saquon run, not like let him loose, but like allow him to burn himself out a little bit. Like make kind of force the Eagles to make him carry the load, kind of wear him out a bit. I don't know. I'm curious to see what they'll do. Obviously, there's only so many ways you can contain Barkley, if you even can. I'm just concerned how they're going to do it. But like we said, Commanders, Eagles, they've played 2 times already. Obviously, one of the times they're just played the backups of the Eagles. But I don't know. I can see them pulling it off. So I'm optimistic. At least I'm trying to be. But I like what Jaden Daniels is doing right now. So I like seeing him succeed.
Yeah, I'm not complaining either way. Again, I just would prefer the Commanders, but I do think the Eagles are likely to be the win there. So
Yay.
I guess that's enough chit chat on that one, and we can head over to
The other one.
the more concerning one.
The one that we're streaming this Sunday.
Yeah.
Yay. So the Chiefs and the Bills, obviously this is played in Kansas City. Again, what a shocker. 4th time's the charm, maybe. Like I said earlier, it would be nice to see something different for once. Please, because it's just really boring seeing the same thing happen over and over and over again. Like, while it is an entertainment business, having the same things happen over and over again, people are going to get bored. And I think the Bills have heard the call from every other fan base except the Chiefs. Please win this game for the love of God. Please win this game. And I think the Bills might actually win this one for once, because while the Chiefs haven't this is the playoff Chiefs that we're talking about here. They've been good for years. They've played like Super Bowl winners and everything, but Allen this year has stepped up to an extent, and he's not shied away from changing his tactics and making sure other teammates are getting the ball, or making sure that he's not playing hero ball all the time. He's changed. He's different this year. He hasn't thrown a lot of interceptions this year. Obviously, a couple bad games here and there. That happens. But I'm pretty optimistic with how the Bills are playing recently. And while the Chiefs' defense is really good, I think the Bills can do just enough to get around that Chiefs secondary. The Chiefs' offense, however, that's where I'm the most concerned, because I said this before the Ravens and Bills game. I kept questioning, what Bills defense are we going to see today? Are we going to see the Bills-Rams game from a few weeks ago? Or are we going to see the Bills defense for like the first 8 weeks this season, where they've just been clamped, shut down for most of it? Like, I don't know what defense we're getting. So with that being in mind, I'm hoping they can finally turn things around. I think the Bills are probably, I'd say out of the 4 teams, are probably the second healthiest right now, I want to say. I don't know. I'd say the Bills are pretty healthy. Like, they're not missing any key pieces right now. If they are, they got decent backups. So I'm picking the Bills. I know I'm going to hit my heart broken, but
Yeah, I think, I guess this kind of gives it away, but I absolutely would love to see the Bills go, just because, I mean, One, I haven't seen the Bills in a Super Bowl.
It'd be nice.
That's not something I've ever seen. But it's also just, again, you don't want to see the Chiefs, obviously, but I don't have, like, I like the Bills. Like, I like what they're doing. I like the team that they have. It was expected to be more of a down year, and it wasn't. So it's just how much different is this year. And that's kind of a piece that I want to, focus on because we've seen these two teams.
Yes.
Well, 3 times, to be exact, in the past.
Yes.
But that number is actually the point that I want to focus on is at least first, Josh Allen is 0-3 versus the Chiefs and in the playoffs. And is there enough different this year? Like I know you mentioned, so I think I know your answer, but like is it really enough this year to be different for them to not make that 4?
I think it is. I think it's different enough, and they're definitely more prepared this time around. I'd say the first few times that was just getting comfortable with being back in the playoffs for the first time in like years, first of all. The last time they met, that was supposed to be the year that they were going to finally break through, and just it didn't happen. This year, this is boom or bust, I'd say, like for defeating the narrative. Just the narrative itself. Because if you can't beat the narrative, then if you do go to the Super Bowl in like the next few years or whatever, if you don't go this year, then it will always be, oh, but you never beat the Chiefs though. You never beat this the dynasty that was the Kansas City Chiefs, and you finally made it until they were not there anymore. I'd like to see the Chiefs lose one of those games for once. I know the last time that happened was the Bengals game a few years ago. But it'd be nice for the Chiefs to finally get a wake-up call and realize that they're not invincible. We get somebody different. And the Bills, with Josh Allen under center, can get the job done. But like I said before, that's just me being optimistic. Chiefs are still a really good team. Mahomes is Mahomes. He's still got to do magic. Mahomes magic, I guess, or dark magic, depending on who you ask. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, here's another point that I want to talk about because I think I believe it was all 3 years. I don't know. Can you think of one maybe thing that is different this year? One specific thing, or maybe thing that isn't there this year that was there before.
That isn't there?
That isn't there now for the Bills. One thing who's moved south.
Oh, Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, how because I know there's a lot of talks about how he's played in the playoffs, especially when it comes to playing against the Chiefs. And again, it's a big part of why they thought that they were going to take a step back, and they took what seems like a step forward, if anything. And how much of an impact is like him not being there? Like, is it going to be game changing that he's not there because you have someone that you like the people who have stepped up in his place can be relied on, or is it going to be like whatever, it's not really that big of a deal?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it might be a slight game changer. I don't think it'd be that big of a game changer. I think what would be a big game changer is the fact that the Bills actually have a running game now in James Cook.
James Cook he's been a lot better this year.
Stephon Diggs is Stephon Diggs. Like, he's still a decent receiver. I do think he's the reason why they lost the last couple times. Not solely, but part of the reason why they've lost the last couple times. With him out of the way and a run game in place of that, I think it's possible, because then you don't have to worry about Josh Allen doing hero ball all the time, just checking down the Stephon Diggs. Then you also have different wide receivers who have adapted, or at least better, to Josh Allen's scheme, I'd say. Coleman has done well. Shakir has also been a really confident receiver. When he was playing against your Ravens, I don't think he dropped the ball once.
I don't think I saw him drop a ball, no.
No, he caught everything that was thrown his way, whether it be check downs, launches down the field, or whatever it was. He caught it. Didn't matter. I mean, while the Bills don't have like a very well-known names in like the wide receiver room, they're still decent names. Like, it's not like Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase, but they're good receivers. Like, they're gonna do the job.
You got Khalil Shakir, like you mentioned, Keon Coleman, Amari Cooper.
Like, even Cooper's not that bad.
Curtis Samuel.
Yeah.
Which again, like none of them are like top 5 receivers.
No, but they're still decent receivers.
It's a good
Can't
room,
get the job
and
done.
I'm curious. I didn't see a lot of them, and I don't think we've seen a lot of them since he's gotten there. But curious to see if Amari Cooper really steps up in this game.
He might.
That's kind of where you would expect something like that in a veteran role, because you have Keon Coleman, who's a first-year receiver, like it's his first year, and then there's Khalil Shakir, who's in his second or third year.
I believe it's his third.
So you got like younger guys. Samuel's, he's also been around the block too, but
Samuel, I think he's his 4th, 5th, or 6th year, somewhere in there.
he's got more experience, even though not really with anyone. But
No.
yeah, so basically, but you're saying, you think without Stephon Diggs, you won't have that piece that could help lose the game. So, but it's not enough to be like a game changer that he's gone.
Yeah.
It's more the run game is what.
I would say it's more the running game, but also when you think of, especially the last few years besides this year, when you think of the Bills, you think Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs. At least that was what you thought of.
Mm-hmm.
It was the name and that was the focus, I'd say. So when they were playing the Chiefs or whoever it was, they made sure Stephon Diggs was covered.
Mm-hmm.
This time around, they don't have like that number one wide receiver that you have to cover. You have to make sure he's covered. This time around, I think it's been evenly spread out, I'd say, between the 4 receivers. And they're all decent, so you don't know what they're going to do. So this time around, the Chiefs are not making sure it's not one guy who's getting all the passes. It's all of them. Because obviously when the Bills' offense was still moving down the field during the playoffs against the Chiefs or Bengals or whoever it was, most of the big passes were going to Stephon Diggs. This time around, you don't know who it is.
True. That's true. I do have one more piece before I get into my official pick, which is comparing this year to last year. As we saw, again, the Chiefs go to the Super Bowl last year, and they did it through the gauntlet. They did it on the road for the most part, and they had to go on the road to Buffalo, on the road to Baltimore, and then they went through the 49ers, who were the powerhouse. And I feel like the name of those games was like coach incompetencies on the opposite side of the field.
Yeah.
And I don't know, looking at this, I mean, I pray that the Bills are prepared this time. I mean, you're playing them for the 4th time in the playoffs. But I don't know if that same trend is the same thing where after the Texans game. I don't know that it is the same trend.
This one, I'd say the difference between this year and last year, I'd say between the Chiefs. I'd say for the most part this year, Chiefs have been not saying that they've not been focused, but it's more of they haven't had to put full effort into some of these games as they have done in the past. Like you said, for the playoff gauntlet from last year, those are good teams. The Chiefs this year haven't really played. When they have played good teams, they do win, usually by 1 score or whatever. But this time around, they've just not been convincing. Wow, you beat up on a Texans team I didn't think you were going to actually, beat. Sure, I was cheering for the Texans, but I'm not surprised you beat them. I said the Texans this year were just not that impressive. They just weren't. I don't know. The Chiefs are still the Chiefs. They're still going to be good. Always will be. They just don't seem as serious this year. I don't know why. It's giving me this weird feeling that they are a really good team. They just don't take things up to a certain point seriously. And I think that's why the joke of, oh, the real season starts now kind of mentality has been coming into play. And that's why I just didn't like, or at least their attitude for the last couple of years was just, oh, it doesn't matter until the playoffs now. So we're not going to get full effort and everything. So, I mean, the first game they played in the playoffs was the Texans.
So you think it's going to be a different trend this year? It's not going to follow the trend of the Bills beating, really like handing it to them by being.
I think that for the first time, the Bills don't follow the trend of handing the win to their opponents. I think the Chiefs, for once, will kind of underestimate the strength of this Bills team, just for once. I don't think it'll be the entire game, but it'll definitely be for half. They'll be like, oh, wait, the Bills are actually like focused. They're actually trying to win this game for once. I think that will be a wake-up call for the Chiefs and like kind of force them to actually focus and, push to win this game. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying that the Chiefs didn't put effort into beating the Texans. It just doesn't look convincing. Like, to be completely fair, at certain points during the Texans and Chiefs games, I was like, how are you not blowing them out right now? Because the Texans at some points were just playing sloppy. They were sloppy in some areas. And I thought that score would have been like a 30-point, like whether it be 31, 35 point to not even 14 points. It should have been like 10 or 12, not counting the safety. It's like it should have been a blowout, but it wasn't. Just a weird score. I just didn't. For most of that game, it didn't feel real. But I believe this time that they won't follow trends the last few years. Bills will finally break their stereotype of never beating the Chiefs. Chiefs underestimate them. Still a good game. I just think the Bills will finally beat them by like 3 or less points. Because it's not going to be a blowout. It's going to be a really close game.
Yeah. And again, the reason why I was asking these questions is these are the things that I was considering as to how I wanted to go into this. And I came into this being like 100% Chiefs because, I mean, they haven't beaten them before, and not in the playoffs. They haven't been able to do it. Chiefs are just a different beast in the playoffs, and
you can't stop them.
Yeah, they're with Patrick Mahomes. They haven't missed a AFC Championship game.
Nope.
So, which is just ridiculous. But there's a few points that you made, and then there's again obviously the things that I asked, which are the things that I've been considering, and I'll just work through them as like my bounce back and forth. For one, no Stephon Diggs, which I do agree that the committee sort of thing and the pieces they have around him, I think they're going to have a better mentality than Stephon Diggs did coming into these games.
Yes.
He had some. It might have not have been the whole game, but I think there was a few plays where it did impact the game, and it impacted the way he played. And I think that's not really something that you necessarily will see.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's the concern of the Bills getting into the here we go again sort of thing, but I think this team is different. I think the Bills team is different. You mentioned the run game is a lot stronger, and Josh Allen, I think, is playing better. I mean, he's putting on a more solo performance, but it's just a team performance around him. Mm-hmm. So I think that's important to look at. But I also think that you look at the Bills, and I feel like they have also not played in the playoffs. I feel like there's been several points where they just aren't playing 4 quarters of football. Yes. I mean, there was the first the first game against the Broncos where it was close until halftime. And then second half they came out shooting. And then you look at the Ravens game where they come out shooting in the first half, and then the second half they kind of just let them crawl back. And it's like you didn't really close out a game where they had, and so there's concerns there. But the point I think that really pushed me to make this decision is that you mentioned that you think the Bills are going to at some point make the playoffs, and Josh Allen will make the playoffs again. Or the Bills will again, Josh Allen will make, or not the playoffs, the Super Bowl. You think that he'll make it there and the Bills will return. And you had also mentioned that it wouldn't necessarily, that they need to beat them here because if they do it when it's not the Chiefs. But the thing is, the Chiefs have made it every year with Patrick Mahomes. So what chance are they going to get to make the Super Bowl or like to win an AFC championship game that isn't against Patrick Mahomes? Like, you're going to have to do it against him. And
it's now or never mentality.
I do think that they'll make it there, but it's like, how many more times do you have to lose to Patrick Mahomes in the AFC championship before you can win the AFC championship and get to the Super Bowl? And I mentioned I came in here with the Chiefs, but I think this is going to be so stupid because I've done this so many times. But I'm actually going to flip to the Bills because I think eventually they will get it done. And I think this is a really good year to do it. And I think I've said it several times, but I think this really is like a year to do it. You got rid of the problem child. You've established more of a ground game, which is crucial. You know, it's not putting it all in the air or all in the back of Josh Allen. Like, you can rely on the run game. Mm-hmm. Defense has stepped up a good amount throughout especially towards the latter end of the year. And that's what matters. And, you know, obviously you had what was going on earlier, but how they're playing now is what's more important and crucial to keep of note. And it's just, I think Josh Allen will make a Super Bowl. I would hate for him to be like a Phillip Rivers.
I do not wish a Phillip Rivers treatment over any quarterback.
So
ever.
I think he will make it at least one time. And I wouldn't be surprised if it was just one time, and even if he doesn't win it. Like, I still think he'll make it there at some point. And I feel like this is a good year for that to be the case. You know, you have a lot lined up, and I feel like the way things are set up, people expect them to be good or better next year, and I think they might take a step back just on the principle of teams you expect to do better don't always do better.
Yes.
And so I think this is just a really prominent team. The way they played against the Ravens, obviously you have to overcome this Chiefs team who, again, hasn't played flashy, but they do enough on defense and they get enough on offense going. Travis is going again. You get enough going, you know, because the Chiefs, they just find ways to win. And that's what's so annoying, is it's not dominant offense, dominant defense. It's a good defense, an offense that shows up at the crucial points and they pull out a win. And I think that's what's been so frustrating and hasn't showed dominance, is their dominance is literally just the wins. Mm-hmm. And it's just, can you overcome that? And that is something that not a lot of other teams have, and not even the Bills have necessarily been. The Bills have just been good.
Yeah, they've just been good.
It's gonna come down to coaching. That's what's lost them games before, other than, you know, wide right. You know,
yeah.
Hoping that's not the case here, but just coaching is, I think, going to be the difference. But I think Josh Allen can do it this year.
He definitely can.
I am gonna. Hey, if I have to eat my words again, I swear. I've gone against the Chiefs so many times. It hasn't worked many times.
90% of people that are not Chiefs fans, they're tired of it. I think we're all tired. Some are frustrated, some are mad, some are just like, bro, can we just have something different for once? I'm one of the people who just wants something different.
I will admit that a small factor is the fact that if I picked the Chiefs and it went as I predicted, we were going to get Chiefs, Eagles again, which wouldn't be as bad if we didn't just get Chiefs 49ers again. So we got Chiefs 49ers, we had Chiefs Eagles, and then we had Chiefs 49ers rerun. I really do not need another rerun because I would lose my mind if I had to watch Chiefs Eagles again in the Super Bowl.
It's like Disney shoving out the same project and hoping it turns out the same way every single time.
If the Chiefs win, by God, the Commanders better have won that NFC Championship game because I'm gonna be
If the Commanders win and the Chiefs win, it's a David and Goliath kind of situation.
Yes,
I'm
and
honestly cheering for the Commanders.
And again, if that's the case, I'll at least be like, okay, it's at least something new. You know, they're not going through the Eagles again. I just if it's Chiefs Eagles, I'm just no. All I'll say is no. Many other things I'd like to say that I will not.
I've given up fighting.
If it's the Chiefs Eagles, I'm gonna be.
I'll say this now and then I'll get furious later. But
I'm gonna.
I'm prepared for any situation at this point because it's just you expect it to go one way, it just stays the same. Nothing's ever changed. And all those Chiefs fans will be like, haha, and everything. I'm like, yeah, I know. Congrats to you. You finally have a dynasty. Not everybody gets that chance. So I guess take it in as you can, but don't be a jerk about it, I guess. I don't know.
I will say this for Sunday's live stream. If we come into that live stream and the Eagles have won, this will be a Bills Mafia live stream.
Yes, it will be.
It will be a bit like there.
Wilkins, where are you? We'll get you on stream.
if it's Commanders, if the Commanders win, I'll be like, go Bills, woo. But
whoa,
yeah. If it's Eagles, it's diehard Bills. Like, just don't give me that Super Bowl again. That's.
But what makes the most money, Will? What will give you the most money to the NFL?
David and Goliath, because it's not a rerun.
Depends on what the NFL wants.
I'm sure if the NFL is picking their choice, it'll be Chiefs for sure. But you tried the rerun strat. I think if you really think trying that again is gonna, I think if they really, I think the NFL would want the Commanders. I think would be more interesting, right? Please, that's right.
We're not commander. We're not the commissioner or anything. So
I'm praying that it's just anything but that. I don't want to see the Chiefs, but anything but Chiefs Eagles is.
Yeah, that'd be nice. But
I can live with anything else. I'd be excited for a Bills Commanders.
That would be it. Yeah. I mean, that's what I chose, but
I don't know.
Will that become reality? I got a 25% chance.
I'll stop. Oh, well, we can stop ranting.
We're both tired of the same thing over and over again.
If I suddenly seem super Bills Mafia on Sunday, you know why now.
I've been rooting for the Bills Mafia since day one.
I mean, again, I said, like, if whoever won last week between the Bills and Ravens, I was rooting for them from the AFC.
Yeah.
And that's the case. It's like I'm still bitter from the loss, yes, but like it's still, go Buffalo, like go all the way.
Do it, yeah.
It's purely respect, and I mean you saw that.
Especially with Lamar and Allen.
That was
good sign of respect and everything. They're great players. It sucks that one of them has to go on, but just happened to be Josh Allen this time.
Allen, please save me.
Save us. Josh Allen, if you can hear me, Save us.
It's gonna be a miserable offseason if I have to see the Chiefs beat the Eagles again in the Super Bowl.
I don't think there'll be much things to cheer for the NFL after that. But
Schedule will be interesting.
yeah,
But I don't know. I guess closing thoughts.
go Bills and go Commanders.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I second what he said.
Yep.
Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this preview of the AFC NFC Conference Championship
Stuff.
weekend playoffs.
I'll be praying extra hard.
And we'll see you next time.
See ya.
Bye.